Welcome back. It is episode 128. I am your host, Jacob Harris, and this podcast is brought to you by Achievement, Apex, and Powerpit Rockingham. We're now sponsored by Supplement Mart Rockingham, and we are also associated with Ped Test Australia and Bulk Gym Talk. Oh, I knew I'd fuck it up. Bulk Gym Chalk. Almost got through the whole thing then. It's happened in the last three podcasts. I am joined today by Jack Sawyer. Thanks for being here, man.
No, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
I just can't help but not. I feel like I want to call you Jacked Sawyer now because I've seen the name so much.
Don't worry.
People call you that?
I get that a lot, but I also get people calling me Jack 3D. And I'm like, no, like the 3 is meant to be a backwards E. It's jacked, but that's all right.
I actually kind of like that though, because that was that fucking hectic pre-workout, a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So it's funny because when I first made the handle, I had no idea that pre-workout existed. I was like, yeah, Jack 3D jacked. That makes sense. And literally like a week later, I discovered the pre-workout was a thing because when I made it, obviously it'd been banned by then. And yeah, I was like, okay, cool. This kind of works out anyway.
Did you ever try to get a hold of it? Because I know some people still had some.
I had the reformulated one, so the one that was weak as piss. But yeah, I never had the original.
Oh, devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll find a little way to segue into the first thing that we should mention, just because it's the exciting thing that's been the most recent.
Yes.
But if you were going to have a pre-workout, would it by chance be Gorilla Mind?
It would have to be, but I actually have a funny story about the pre-workout.
Okay, go.
So, yeah, elephant in the room. I just got sponsored by them through the meme page, through my personal. Pretty big deal. I was quite stoked with it. So the way it worked was they reached out and they're like, okay, we're going to send you your first package of just heaps of supplements, the energy drinks, all that stuff. And I was like, beautiful, let's do that. And they sent it off. I got the email saying that it's been sent, and a week later, I get an email from, what's it called? The border control.
Oh, okay,
Customs. So
customs.
fucking customs email me, and they're like, oh, hey, we've got your package here. We need an ingredients list with everything in it. And I'm just like, can't you just read the nutrition label? It's all there. Anyway, so I forwarded that back to Gorilla Mind. Was like, hey, like they want to know what's in it. Like, can you help me out? So they're like, all right, no worries. Leave it with us. We'll take care of it. And then the next day, the guy I was talking to, Cameron, he was like, look, I'm just going to resend it because the Gorilla Mode, their big pre-workout, has something in it that the Australian government don't like. So I can get everything except the pre-workout.
Can you tell us what that ingredient is?
I can't remember what it's called, but it's some big long fuck off word. But it was a derivative of DMA, I believe.
I think I've heard someone mention this before, actually, because we had a couple get taken off our shelf here.
Yeah, because it happens all the time in Australia. A big pre-workout will come out, and then obviously it's high stim, so there's something in it that probably shouldn't be, and then it gets taken away. But yeah, so they've resent the package. They've just taken out the Gorilla Mode, and they've just chucked in a few of their like pump products and their gaming pre-workout, all that sort of stuff as well.
So you can never get that. You can never have that pre-workout.
Because you can get it for like Amazon and stuff, and I've seen people with it. So I think it's just hit or miss whether customs decide to check it or not. So whether it slips through, that's all right. But I'm not too stressed about it. I can just take their pump product and just add, mix it with another one or something.
Yeah, I don't take caffeine anymore. I don't have pre-workouts anymore, just on a personal thing. But I definitely went through a stage of trying different ones and shit. And I'd be interested to hear what this one was like, because I personally,
100%.
Like I just got to a point where I found like a lot of them. What was the one I had? Nitroflex was one I had for a while, but it was like before they changed it, and I think that was more like a fat burner. And I like that one. And then after that is when I tried, like, I don't know what ones you have over there, but like Total War.
Yeah, it's all the same sort of over here.
Yeah.
Total War and Disorder's huge over here.
That stuff, man, I had the grape one maybe.
Yep.
And I didn't like the taste of it. And it gave me like, it made like, it was like, because it has beta alanine in it, I think.
Yes.
And so it wasn't like I was itchy, but it was like fucking up with my mouth. Like it was like I had something kind of weird and sour
Yeah.
And it was like, but it was like not a good one. Like it was like a bad tasting thing. And then it just gave me the shits really bad. And I was like, fuck, like I'm not a fan of this. But no other
Yeah.
pre-work had really done it like that. Like unless I'd eaten a bunch before or like it just seemed kind of normal. But like, yeah, it'd be interesting. This American one that apparently has this thing in it you're not meant to have, like what the
Yeah.
difference would be.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know a lot of pre-workouts over here have English walnut in them, and that is also a derivative of DMA, and that's how
Okay.
the supplement companies get past that. They just put it as English walnut, but obviously we don't know how long that's going to last.
Yeah, well, I know they did that with. I used to have Ronnie Coleman's one, and
Yeah,
they did that with like the caffeine. Like they, when they put it in there, there's like another word for caffeine that they were using for a while, and that was how they were like putting more in there without,
yeah,
exceeding the limit.
it's funny. They're always going to find a way around it. But yeah, the Australian government just keep throwing barriers at it.
Oh man, it's like they're doing that with everything at the moment. The biggest
Yeah.
thing here is vaping at the moment. Is I don't know
Oh,
what
100%.
yeah, they're going to get rid of that or whatever, and everyone's going to have their own opinions on that. I mean, I don't mind it personally, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
well, I
yeah.
don't vape, so
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things. I did it to quit smoking, but I think it's one of those things where it's just like shows you how funny the Australian government is because like in
yeah.
England or New Zealand, it's just like legal and it's just normal.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's an interesting one. So it sucks that you didn't get that, but at least you got some of the other things that they sent over. Is there anything that was like a standout for you?
Well, because they sent the package originally, and then the slabs of the energy drinks rocked up as well as the apparel, but the rest got seized. So I'm waiting for the rest to show up. But yeah, so far I've tried a few of the energy drinks and I really like them. Not because I'm paid to say that, because I actually do like them.
Yeah. Oh, you
Um,
posted the orange one, hey?
yeah, so each day I've just been trying a different flavor, and so far they've all been pretty good. There was a tiger's blood one. It was a bit more of like a coconut, but I'm not a fan of coconut.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there a standout flavor if someone was going to get one?
So far, the strawberry candy, the pink one, was my favorite. It was very sweet, and I was a bit of a sweet tooth, so
Are they zero sugar?
they are zero sugar, 200 milligrams of caffeine, and it's got 400 milligrams of alpha GPC, which I believe is 50% of a clinical dose. So it's a bit more of like a nootropic drink as well.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I knew. I mean, it's like Derek having something to do with it. It's going to have to be right.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's got like all these different things on there that no other energy drink like even bothers to explain. So it's pretty cool.
Hmm. And so it's had to do with the meme page, you think, or is it more to do with your
Yeah,
powerlifting?
well, no, so it's definitely to do with the meme page because it was a few months ago on Instagram. If someone with a lot of followers follows you, it comes off as a priority notification. So Derek More Plates More Dates followed the meme page a few months ago, and it popped up as a priority, and I seen it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He wants to follow it, no worries. And then it was a few months later that Gorilla Mind messaged me and was like, hey, we want to work together. So I was like, all right, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, like, I obviously want to get into like more about who you are, but we've kind of started this, train now.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. Yeah, go for it.
I'm interested in the whole meme thing, right? Because like everyone's trying to do it, and ultimately, I'm running a podcast, right? Like this gets more
Yeah,
exposure. I'm like, oh, wicked. So for me, I'm like, you see people get to that level, and you're always interested in how they grow. And meme pages are an interesting one because fuck, anyone can make them, and there's probably thousands of them. So it's like, when did yours start, and like, what was the journey of the growth?
well, it's funny that whole anyone can do this attitude. That's exactly why I started it. Because back in 2018 is when I started it. I think it was July 14th. I've got the date written down somewhere. And I was browsing on Instagram and I was following a few meme pages, and I seen the same meme like 4 times in a row that they just all reposted. And I was like, fucking hell, surely someone could just make some new shit. So then that's when I was like, all right, I'll make a meme page. And at the time, I was working as a fitter and turner for a company called Pertec. And like I always wanted to get into the fitness industry, but I wanted something different. So I was like, all right, well, if I can build, a following through like a meme page or something, that would help me out a lot. So that was the main goal to start with, was to make a meme page, create original content, and grow a following. And now that it's actually sort of happening, I'm like, okay, cool. So it wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, well, like it's weird now, right? Because at a certain level, that's when you can start making money from it.
Yes.
And so I know Instagram's apparently like somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
and then TikTok's like the least good because it seems to be like that's when things just can pop off for no reason and people are watching videos that are just crap anyway.
Yeah.
And then like YouTube seems to still pay the best.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you are willing to kind of say about that, but are you earning money from it?
I like this is sort of the first time I'm earning money from it. Um, I've had a few like affiliate programs in the past, which I've made a little bit from, but Gorilla Mind is definitely going to be like the big ticket item for me. Just because the way it works is if someone checks out with my code, they get a 10% discount, but I get 20% of that sale,
Yeah, that's
which
huge.
is a huge chunk. And when I had the meeting with them, they it was like a full on PowerPoint presentation. I'm just like sitting there in like my workout gear, like, all right, cool, no worries. Um, and they're running me through it. And yeah, they're saying all this stuff and like how they're one of the fastest growing supplement companies in the world and they offer like the highest payout for all their affiliates. And I'm just like, cool, no worries. Yeah, sweet, sounds good.
Yeah, wow. It must have been like pretty surreal.
It was very surreal.
Yeah, it's such a big company as well, but I mean, at the same time, there's good growth on there, man. And the problem
Mm,
is, right, like people will get like weird about it, right? Like you said before, like when you like the flavor of something or whatever, and you're
yeah,
like, I'm not just saying that because I'm getting paid.
yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean? And people will automatically assume that every time you do some kind of like product placement, that you're like some sort of like sellout. You know what I mean? And they're like, I don't know why people just automatically assume those things
Right.
because you have to do it to a certain extent, right? You're trying to grow something.
Yeah,
So you got to, right? Like it's just like, and Gorilla Mind's like, at least it's like in line with what you're doing. Everyone that's looking at your memes, chances are, right? Like 50% of
yeah,
them are going to be using it anyway.
yeah. So a good thing with that was like a lot of the influencers that I use in my memes, you know, like Shane Hunt, Sush Bra, James English, they're all sponsored by Gorilla Mind anyway. So it all links together in a nice little package, I reckon.
Yeah, it does. It does as well. And that's kind of what I was wondering about too, because even just besides the Gorilla Mind deal, like, do you make money from just Instagram? Because that's what I was
No,
wondering.
so I don't know, even at this level, I don't know how Instagram works to pay out. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's only like through ads and affiliate programs and all that sort of stuff. I think you've got to be like on a whole nother level to get paid by Instagram. But
Yeah. Okay. What about
yeah,
YouTube? Have you ventured into YouTube Shorts then with
I
that?
have no, yeah, I've got a channel which I've posted a couple shorts on. I've just been super inconsistent with it because once again, like there's like no followers on YouTube. It's all on Instagram. The TikTok, it's on the come up at the moment. But yeah, besides that, I just stick to what I know at the moment.
Yeah, it gets to a point where you've got to almost have other people like running it too. Like,
Yeah,
because
it is quite hard because at the end of the day, it's only me that's doing it.
yeah, and I'm assuming you like what do you do for work now?
I would work at the gym I train at. So basically, I worked as a fitter and turner for 4 years, and then one of my mates who worked at the gym at the time, he became the manager. And I remember I had the fucking like worst day of work, and I was like, oh, I want to throw this in so bad. And I rocked up to the gym to go train, and as I walked in, he came up to me and was like, "Do you want a job here?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I do." And then yeah, the rest was history,
Score.
100%. So and because like I always wanted to get into the fitness industry because you know my main goal is to open my own gym one day. That was like the whole goal behind the me page, the following, make money, build a community, build a space to everyone can come and lift at. So yeah, I was like, all right, this is my chance to get into the fitness industry, and we'll go from there.
Well, I have a gym question for you then.
Yes, I will have a gym answer
How do you feel about not wearing shoes?
in the gym,
Hmm.
barefoot or socks.
I would like an answer for both.
All right, barefoot, disgusting. Don't do it. Socks, I can sort of understand. Like I see people deadlifting socks, that's fine. But then, like, I don't know, I also see like these elite level athletes squatting more than I can squat barefoot. And I'm just like, all right, if it works, I guess. But then also at the end of the day, like you can't squat barefoot in comp. So why are you training barefoot? You know what I mean?
What if someone's not competitive? Like, what? Let's say they're not a competitor.
Still don't do it. Just put some shoes on.
All right, my boss is going to love that because I don't do it here, but the other gym that I train at is like, and like an Australian Metroflex.
Yeah.
Everything's old and it's like real dirty.
Yeah.
And I don't wear shoes there, and I love it so much. It's
Yeah.
really good. But at the same time, it's one of those things too where like there's like it's an old kind of like dingy like CrossFitty gym. There's like powerlifting
Yep.
equipment. It's not, you wouldn't do it at like a Gold's or
No, yeah. Or like a EMF new fancy gym.
yeah, I can understand why not doing it, but also like I said, I think there's even a larger influence now for me with jujitsu, right? Because I'm used to not wearing shoes. You're like
True.
not allowed to wear
Yeah.
them. So it's like that's almost driven me even further into it now. And I'm a bit like, but I think for me, it's always an interesting question on how people fall about. Like people are always either like yes or like a flat out no, like what you said.
Yeah.
And it is interesting because we both, as we know on Instagram, people are doing, you see everyone doing all different kinds of shit. And there is people at
Yeah.
high levels that you do see doing some weird stuff. It's some people are
100%.
squatting in socks on carpet. And I'm like, that's freaking me out, man. Like,
Yeah. And like with the no shoes thing, because like a lot of gyms say you got to wear enclosed shoes, in case you drop a weight on your foot or whatever. But at the end of the day, when you signed up, you signed the liability waiver. It's not the gym's problem anyway.
also, you lift a fair few heavy circles.
Try to.
If you drop a circle on your foot, is a fucking shoe gonna do a lot different?
No,
It's probably not, man. It's you drop a 25 kilo fucking calibrated plate on your foot, you're not going to be having a good time regardless. I
100%.
think, yeah,
No,
it's
definitely not.
interesting. But I mean, you have been powerlifting for how many years?
Did my first comp in 2018.
Yeah,
So six years.
I knew it wasn't that long because when I kind of came across and I'd sort of looked at more of your profile and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, he's not someone who's been doing it 15 years who I've just like totally somehow not seen anything.
Yeah.
Um, and your numbers, I remember finding them like to be, I guess, like aesthetically pleasing in terms of roundness, if I had them right.
Yeah.
Like the typical like 300, 300, 200 kind of.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because the goal that I just ticked off was the 800 total.
mm.
And going into that, I was like, okay, I need 300, 200, 300. But obviously it didn't work out perfectly, but we still got the 800. So
Well, it's a good number. And I mean, what weight class do you compete in? Is it hundreds?
yeah, under hundreds.
Yeah. And so like, I feel like 800 at 100 is like that point where you're like, all right, well, from here upwards is like the rest of my life. Getting to
Yeah.
800, if you're going to get to 800 and you're someone that's capable of that genetically and you have that kind of work ethic, that's probably going to happen in the first 5 to like 7 years, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You're going to know if you're going to be someone who can even go over that number. And so, like you said, you've been powerlifting for 6 years, but how long have you been lifting for?
7. Oh, well, okay. So technically I started training in my dad's shed when I was 15, just throwing around some weights because I used to play footy. But I was very skinny. There wasn't much of me. So for Christmas when I turned 15, um, my parents were like, "Oh, do you want like a bench or some weights?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sweet, sounds good." So yeah, I started training in my dad's shed. No idea what I was doing. I was just googling some programs and just doing random exercises. And then yeah, when I turned 17 and got my P's, I joined a gym so I could drive there. And yeah, the gym I joined was the one I work at now. Funnily enough, so
Yeah, and what's that called?
it was a world gym, and then it got bought out by someone else, and now it's called Ignite Health Club.
Nice. Health Club.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. And so, how old are you?
23.
Jesus. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is just happening more and more now. I just had Connor here, who's apparently 24 or 25, and it's the same thing. I was like, dude, I swear you were 30. Like,
Yeah. No, I
it's
get
not
that a
even,
lot.
but it's not an insult thing. It's just like, it would, how, like, people are jacked at 23, man. Like, you've got a fair
Yeah.
amount of size and strength for a 23-year-old. It might, like, you must have people react that way.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you trying to make me come, dude?
Well, I mean, if you are going to, please get like closer to the microphone because
Yeah,
for
of
our
course.
listeners, they're going to really want to hear that.
Nah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I do get it a bit, like just because obviously with the size and I do look a bit older in the face. Like I understand that. But no, yeah, 23, going on 24.
so you've got a whole fucking. I mean, what do we call the lifetime of powerlifting? Most people are still doing it when they're 40, right? You got 20
100%.
years.
Yeah, like you see Seb Orup, Australian strength coach, he hit 400 kilograms squat when he was 40. And that was like an all-time PR. So I'm all right, it's doable.
Mm. And I mean,
So,
it's realistically with where you're at now. You're hitting those numbers that that are like, they're high, but it's also the sort of thing where like stability comes way more
Yeah.
into it, right?
Yeah.
No one's playing around with sort of 200 kilos on bench unless they're like fucking super heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly.
So realistically, what do you think? I speak to a lot of guys and they're like, oh man, I'm like, you can hit 900. No, no, maybe, probably not. Like, what do you think you've got in you?
I reckon 900, but I'll have to do it at 110s. Like under 100 at 900 would be pushing it. Look, definitely, like I think it's doable. I would just have to. It would take a bit longer, but if I grew into that 110s, I'd hit it a lot sooner. Because obviously, to a certain degree, mass moves mass. That's fine. But yeah, I definitely think it's doable. Like I know what I'm capable of.
It's a good
Not to
attitude to
sound
have.
arrogant or anything, but yeah.
Ah, it's good. So I'm not, this has got nothing to do with your shirt, but are you religious at all?
No, that's Ronnie Coleman.
Oh, nice. Nice. I was
It's
like,
yeah.
there's no way he's wearing a Jesus shirt. I'm like, that
No,
has to be like some kind of
no,
bro science.
that's Ronnie Coleman. That's Jack's Jesus. So yeah, I'm
Love
the
it.
meme guy. There you go.
Is there like an all-time meme for you? Is there like an all-time like
That
maybe
I've
one
made.
that like is there like a golden one that you for you that maybe you've pinned it?
There's Nah, I've never pinned anything. There's plenty that I've made that I just, I think are great. And it's crazy because there's ones that I've made, I'm like, this is great, this is amazing. And I post it and it doesn't do well at all. And then there's
Mm.
others that I'm like, oh, this is all right. And I post it and it blows up. So I'm just like, oh well, whatever. But the one that stands out for me, and the only reason it does is because me and my mate always joke about it and we always bring it up, was Tom Platz when he's driving his Corvette, and it was sped up. I had heat of the moment playing, and the caption was like me leaving my girlfriend's birthday party early to go hit the gym, and then in brackets it says her therapist was right. I will never change, and I don't know, just it's always stood out to me.
Okay, I'll have to see if I can find that one and
It's
chuck
a
it
bit of
in
a
chuck it in
scroll,
clip.
that one.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I've noticed is you don't just upload one, right? You're always uploading like five at a time.
Okay, so that's where I sort of shot myself in the foot, because I used to just upload singles, and then another page that I follow, also a pretty big meme page called "Do I Even Lift, Bro?" I think that's what it's called, and he was uploading dumps, 5 to 10 memes at a time, and they were doing quite well. So I was like, oh, I'll give that a go. So I uploaded a dump of 10, and best post I've ever made. Like it did so well. So I was like, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing now. So now, yeah, I just upload 10 memes and a reel.
Yeah, wow. And have you found that I guess we've kind of when you talked about when you started it, like have you found that there was a period where it grew incredibly quickly or has it been gradual?
Nah, yeah. So for the first 2 years, from 2018 to 2020, not much growth at all. Like I've got it in my notes. It took me, I think it was 613 posts to hit 1,000 followers, and then it was like another 100 posts hit 2,000. But it was in the year 2020 when COVID hit and all the gyms shut. I made plenty of memes about not being able to go to the gym and workouts at home, all that sort of stuff, and that's when it blew up. So basically, when all the gyms were shut.
And so what was it like? Like was it like you when you'd like check your phone, was it just like you couldn't even
Yeah, so
look through it all?
no, I turned the notifications off. So so yeah, now when I open Instagram, it's my personal, I switch to the meme page, and yeah, up the top, it's like, because it maxes out at 100. So it's 100 likes, 100 followers, 100 comments, and that's all you can see. And you just got to scroll through the rest. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was
wow.
just blowing up. I was just like, cool.
Well, you said Derek and obviously liked the page. Have you seen any other interactions from anyone else like that?
The first big one was C-Bum, when he shared a few, because he follows it as well. So back in, what have we been? We've been like 2022 Christmas. I made a Christmas meme, and it was him standing in front of the Christmas tree with his dog giving the finger. And I can't remember what I captioned it. Something about when mum wants to take a photo before you open your presents or something like that. And yeah, he reshared that to his story. And this is like on Christmas Day. I'm eating my Christmas lunch. I've got a notification that C-Bum reshared my meme. I'm just like, Merry Christmas, I guess.
Yeah, wow, man, that's awesome. That's
So yeah, C-Bum. Who else follows it? It's a lot of like influencers like the Trend Twins. They all follow it, that sort of thing.
And you make a fair amount of like ones with them in a day.
Yeah, they're a gold mine. They're always posting funny things. So
Yeah, they're insane, hey, in terms
yeah,
of like I don't know. I feel like it's weird. We have this weird curve in the YouTube world of people who like looked good and just kind of did regular content. Then you've got like the science guys, and then you have people who are just like, I don't know, like absolute, I don't even know what to like call them, but they're almost like not like circus freaks, but that kind of like attention that they get from people. And then
yeah,
everything they do, every short, every video just gets blasted.
yeah,
And those guys, when I first came across them, I don't know, I just couldn't believe anything I was like hearing or like watching or whatever. And I was just like, these guys, like half the time they're not even working out, but they're just saying
yeah.
hilarious shit.
They're just chatting shit and they're like fighting with each other. And I think that's what it is because they're such a wild card.
Mm,
I think that's what the industry needed. Like, there's so many guys out there who try to do it proper. They're very articulate in the way they speak, and they're trying to, give workout advice. Where they're just bros having fun.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I remember with them is when, or like when I first kind of found out about them, was I saw that clip of them getting out at like a gym with, I think it was like Alex Eubank or whatever,
Yeah,
and they were getting out of like cars there, and and then like I couldn't believe how short they were, and then
yeah.
that
Well,
became like a meme as well, and then that's when I weirdly enough same sort of thing, right? I don't know why it made me want to watch more of their stuff, but then I did.
yeah.
So it's weird, man, and so someone's actually asked a question here, which is ridiculous, but maybe you will answer it. They've said, would you smash or pass Sam Sulek?
Well, it's funny. Sam, he follows the page as well.
There you go.
Yeah. So, well, obviously, I'm gonna have to pass because I don't swing that way. Nothing
But
against it, but yeah.
but you wouldn't even just for the experience of Sam?
No, no, I wouldn't. No.
Yeah. Do you think that if you were to have a sexual engagement, do you think that he would like do half reps? Do you think he would maybe
Half
do some
reps.
half rep stuff?
Nah, I reckon he'd be
Full
doing
ROM?
some long strokes. Yeah,
Yeah, you reckon he'd be full ROM?
100%.
Wow, okay. Interesting. I mean, the question was asked, so shout out to Elias V 2004, man. You've got your answer. The other one is from Andre Lifts, and he said, how big is it?
Yeah, no, well, if you refer to, I think it was my mic'd up episode 5, there's a reason they call it the 2-inch Punisher. So that's all.
I'm not even going to respond to that. That's all that needs to be said. I will make
That's
sure I
right.
check out that Mike one again. That's the one with. That's not the one with Darwin. Mike one.
No, so that's his traveling bands. Mic'd up's the ones on my personal with just me lifting, talking shit.
Oh, I think when he did traveling bands, I think you actually still were episode 5 though. You might have been.
Yeah.
Where? Yeah, that's right. Because he was over there for the Zero Pro.
Yep. And then I came back. It was like a week, and then I recorded it when I benched 200, and that's episode 6.
Okay. And so, did you do Zero Pro?
No, I didn't.
No. What was the last comp that you did? Because you said you did the first one in
My first one.
You said first one 2018.
Yeah. So last comp I did was last year, the Strong Geelong Surf Coast Showdown, and that's where I totaled the 800.
Okay. And what did you?
802.5, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. And what did you get in the first comp?
It was a 180 squat, a 110 bench, and a 230 dead.
Yeah, so you definitely had good strong like head start with that deadlift.
Yeah, my deadlift's always been my outlier.
You pull conventional though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever pulled sumo?
Well, it's funny because everyone says to me like, "Oh, you could switch to sumo," but I've dug myself too deep of a hole with the meme page and the sumo meme, so I'm conventional for life.
What if you're going to pull more kilos though? Surely at some point.
Nah, too much. Got too much pride.
That's fair enough. I mean, it's shout out to Darwin, who's probably the most sumo-ish puller.
Oh, and even his squat, it's so wide. I get anxious watching it every time.
His squat, funnily enough, the squat is way more nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Like when I watch the squat, I don't know. I feel like an adductor is just going to pop.
100%, because I know even when I go slightly wider than my usual stance, the amount of stress I can feel my adductor. So watching that, I'm just like, man, this dude has a adductor of steel. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're probably strong from a lot of sumo though, maybe.
100%. Yeah, it'd be a good carryover between the two.
Yeah, I'd say, and a lot of people seem to do it, right? Like
Yeah,
from across the board of like different people. There's a couple other lifters here that do it, and then I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with Sean Newega?
I am not.
He was in the IPF, but he was in like the 83s. Man, I'll have to send you one of his, and like he does like an SBD day. He's got like a really like arch bench or whatever, and I don't even know
Yeah,
if he lifts a lot now. I haven't seen him do much, but his squat and his sumo are like probably maybe even half a meter like wider than Darwin's the way they look. Like his knees are well inside of his like feet. I don't even know how
yeah,
he does it, and he's got to lean so far forward to even hit depth. And
yeah,
all you can think of is that's the strongest hips I've ever seen. So like someone
yeah,
like yourself, it's funny because the other thing is you've spent a lot of years building like everything like this. So going like this probably would cause a lot more risk.
yeah. Because I know if I ever did switch, even because I squat high bar as well, so if I switch to low bar, I'm gonna have to take a step back for a while, which at the moment I'm not willing to do.
No, and so why the perseverance with high bar?
It's just always felt comfy. And like I've tried low bar, like I had a block where I just switched to low bar and I just felt so shit. So I was just like, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it's true. And what's your best high bar? 300 and
Nah, 290.
290. Yeah, okay.
I
And
got folded by 300. It was a good time.
yeah, so 300's like but gonna happen though, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
it's next comp. It has to.
if you're hitting 300 high bar, things are all right. You don't even really need a switch.
Yeah, exactly. Like if John Hack can do it, surely I can.
I'm confused there though because he wears knee sleeves under his pants sometimes, which is
Yeah,
interesting. It's an interesting choice. It's yeah, I feel like I've never seen anybody else do that. But does that add to it? Do you reckon you get more bounce out of the pants?
because they would be stretched over the knee sleeves,
Hmm.
making yeah maybe. But then in comp he doesn't, so and he still hits the same. So might just be a confidence thing.
Could be. Yeah, I just feel like
Mm.
putting your pants over your sleeves would be even more inconvenient. But maybe that's like part of it. Maybe he's like listening to David Goggins and just making his life as hard as he can.
He probably does it at home before he goes. He probably puts it on, puts his pants on, then heads to the gym.
I feel like the sweating must be tremendous, but
100%, but warmed up.
it's working. Yeah. Well, what
Yeah.
wraps do you use?
Just the Lily Bridge ones.
Yeah, they're all I ever really used, man. I preferred them, hey, but I mean, like, I never got
Yeah.
any serious weight in my back, but you know, I found that they were like quite comfortable.
Yeah. I recommend them just simply because they are stiff, but they're also a bit stretchy as well. They're not
Mm.
like your choker wraps, the real stiff ones.
Yeah. What are some of the choker ones again? I think there was some Titan ones. Someone was saying were real bad.
Yeah. So I don't think they make the choker ones anymore, but they're the purple ones. And they're real stiff. Like my mate has a pair and I've like just like even holding onto them, like it just feels like cardboard, like just stiffness. So
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
I feel like at that point, I mean, but then I've used like Inzas too, and they were like way too stretchy. So there's definitely a
Yeah.
nice middle ground, right?
Yeah. Which I know like I've only ever used Lily Bridge, so it's what I know. It's worked for me. So
Hmm. And are you coached by Ash Lachlan? Is that
no,
right?
I've got no coach at the moment.
No? Who are you
Nah,
coached by? Who were you coached by? I don't
it
know.
was
Someone
Ash. Yeah.
Oh, it was Ash. Okay. Because someone had mentioned that and then yeah, okay. So you're just free balling.
Yeah. I'm sort of off the rails at the moment. Hence why I'm like maxing out every second week.
How's that going for you?
It keeps going up.
So it's the approved method, really.
That's right. It's on my deadlifts at the moment. Yeah. So bench and squat, I'm taking easy, but my deadlift's just clicking at the moment. So I'm just going with that.
I've noticed you're doing some hook grip stuff.
I'm trying to because when I use straps, obviously, it puts me in a better position because my arms are stretched, they're longer, reduce the range of motion. So if I can switch to hook grip, so I can do it in comp, why not?
How's it feeling?
It hurts like a bitch.
Seems like it would.
Yeah. But like, yeah, so
You pulled 260 the other day, right?
yeah, and like watching it back, like there's plenty more there strength wise, but yeah, just holding on, just it was difficult.
Yeah, you haven't torn a thumb yet?
No, no, that 260 though, after it was pretty tender. Like there was a couple little, like it wanted to go, so that's why I called it there. And then yeah, next week we'll do it up again and see how we go.
So what's the next plan? Like, what's the comp in mind?
I was going to do pro raw, but I tore my quad a while ago, so I just put the brakes on for that. But Vic States down at PTC in May, so it's about 15 weeks away.
Is there any? Okay. Is there any other comps that you want to maybe look at doing, possibly somewhere in like the States or anything like that?
That would be cool. It'd be awesome to be invited to like the hybrid showdown one day.
Hmm.
Like Lily Riley and all that who did that. They did the Ghost Clash, sorry. But yeah, Ghost Clash, Hybrid Showdown, all those ones would be awesome to do.
Yeah, I mean, there must be some people that you'd like to compete against, right? Is there anyone that you would like to compete with?
Well, it's funny because like I love watching Death Grip Derek, like Derek Thistleweight over in the States, which he reckons he's retired, but he's my age and has totaled like 1,000, which is insane.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'd love to even just meet him. That'd be cool. But yeah, I'd love to like compete against John Hack and all the greats. Who
Yeah.
wouldn't?
I didn't know Derek was your age.
Yeah, I think he might be 24. But yeah, he looks
That
40. It's
that's
insane.
I was gonna say that's a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
That's wow. I think Derek he does jiu-jitsu as well, right? Is that
He
maybe
does.
part of it? So he probably
Yeah.
got more interested in that. But I still see him like hook gripping like 855 and shit all the
Yeah,
time.
he's still PRing. It's insane.
It's incredible. Maybe it's in the moustache.
It's got to be. I wish
Yeah.
I could grow one like that.
But you've got something going, right? Like is
Yeah,
that part of it?
tiny little thing. Like I need to start tinting it. You can't even see it.
Well, I mean, you need to start tinting it, or you just need to, you know, up the supplements or something,
I'm
and
gonna
then
have to.
yeah, I mean, it's like, or just I'm sure there's something you can add in. What about the quad? Did you do anything for that?
Nah, everything stayed the same for that.
You
So
just rehabbed it.
yeah, just rehabbed it. Protocol stayed the same. If it went on any longer, I was gonna look at some BPC, but it's pretty good now. So if it
Mm.
happens again, yeah, BPC straight away.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah, you should try putting pants on over your wraps.
100%. Yeah, that's obviously where I went wrong. I should have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably take you 2.5 minutes to get your wraps off.
100% in the middle of summer on a 40-degree day. It'd be so good.
Yeah, man, that'd be crazy. I mean, we obviously said about squats. What about bars? Like you obviously a deadlifter. Do you
Yep.
have a preference? Like, or because a lot of people here are like, well, I just fucking deadlift on anything. And then there's people who are like fully into certain bars and shit. Do you like whippy bars?
Yeah, so I don't mind deadlifting a power bar or a deadlift bar. Like I do both. Like in my off season, stiff bar is a good variation for me. But I use the Rogue power bar and the Valhalla deadlift bar. They're the two I train with. But as long as it takes me a couple of weeks to get used to either one when I transition between the two, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other things that you, in terms of like bench pressing, is there any, I guess, boxes that need to be ticked for you, like in terms of like equipment that you use?
As long as it's like a decent powerlifting bench, like I have a Valhalla one, same similar to like a AMFX one that they use in most of the GPC comps. Just yeah, anything besides like your generic hammer strength bench that's like slippery as fuck.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't really, I've used, I think both of those to be honest, but just probably not
Yeah,
realizing because I did it at Rushi's here. And have you ever been to Perth?
yep, yes. So I went to Perth end of last year.
Oh, okay. And would you just have family over here or did you just came over for a holiday?
Yeah, so originally my missus at the time was going to do a bodybuilding comp. Unfortunately, yeah, she had to pull out of it, but we had the flights booked and everything. So we're like, oh, we'll just make a holiday of it. So yeah, we just came over for a week and went sightseeing, trained at some gyms, and then yeah, that's when I met Darwin.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's right. And that was, you went to, where was that? House? That was in House of Pain, was it?
It was House of Pain. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That's right. Was it, because I got confused then. So was Lily over as well? Because you guys did,
Lily Riley.
yeah, he did yours pretty close to each other, but I thought he
Yeah, it
must
was
have,
like a week before.
yeah. Okay. And then that
Yeah,
wasn't when he was at zero. So she must have been here because I wasn't sure when
yeah.
that was filmed. I actually thought he was over there where, like with you.
No, yeah. I was in Perth with him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So I think like when I mentioned YouTube and everything before, that's kind of where I'm wondering, are you going to venture in that sort of direction? Because I feel like you're pretty content orientated. Like, is there a reason you haven't looked at doing more of that? Because
I
there
think
is a
it's
lot.
just
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I suppose, yeah, the commitment to because once you start YouTube, if you want it to be good and you want to grow, you got to be consistent with it.
Mm.
And like it's harder to be consistent with long form content because it takes longer to edit and longer to record. It's a bit more of a commitment and it takes up a lot more time. So that's my only thing at the moment.
Yeah, it's just interesting, I guess, because you could have, I guess, somewhat of a good carryover, right? Like you could really try to feed people from that meme page into it.
Yeah, 100%.
If you wanted to sort of do that, and there's a decent amount of income involved.
Yeah. So the only thing with that is like if you watch my mic'd ups, I use a lot of different songs, a lot of different clips from other forms of media. If I did that on YouTube, I wouldn't get paid for it because it'd be copyright straight away. So I'd have to
Yeah.
try and pivot with that, not edit it as much. But like I feel like the editing is where it really shines.
Yeah, well, that's something I didn't really consider with this, but I guess podcast, that's where I'm lucky, right? Because it's
Yeah,
just us
it's literally just
talking.
two dudes talking.
Yeah. So I mean, because I'll put this on YouTube now. I wasn't putting one on YouTube for a bit, but then I was like, I guess you sort of forget. Like some people don't fuck with Spotify or anything like that, and that sort of makes more sense, I guess. But also then someone had sort of mentioned to me similar to like what you were talking about. They were like, well, if it's podcast, it's long format, so really YouTube should be where you're trying to build your audience.
Yeah. YouTube, especially if you're recording it, like if you were just doing Spotify, you wouldn't need the face to face.
Hmm.
But yeah, if the cams are here, you might as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So what about the coaching side of things? Like, are you just happy kind of, I guess, coaching out of the gym, making a bit of income, or is that something that you obviously said that you want to build a gym? Do you have like a trajectory that you're headed on?
Yeah, so at the moment, like I don't coach anybody. I really want to. Like that's my next step. But I'm going to do this prep myself. Do that. Because I still need to get my own coach because I'm just winging everything at the moment. But yeah, so probably after this next comp, I'll really start to work on that.
Do you have anyone in mind, like for coaching?
I've been looking at zero weakness.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, just
specific.
because like
I don't know how that works, but you mean specifically, Tom?
yeah, I think it's like you because I've gone on their website. You've got the different packages, and I suppose it depends what package you pick and which coach they give you and all that sort of stuff. Who's available? But I
Interesting.
feel like yeah,
Why specifically those guys?
it was between them or Nexus Performance, as in like Will Crozier.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's just purely because like all the big comps like Pro Raw and that I've been to and watched, they've got a lot of athletes competing at those, so they know what it's all about. Obviously, they have some idea of what they're doing, and yeah, it's something different.
Yeah, I've had both Will Crozier and Thomas Lilly on here. They're both good guys and obviously very good at what they do. I'd say they're solid selection choices.
Yeah,
Powerlifting's an interesting one because there's a lot of people doing it now, right?
100%. Everyone does one comp and then goes, "Oh, I can start coaching now."
Yeah, I mean it is. I find it interesting, like as I guess someone who coaches multiple people, it's weird to me to like niche to one thing. I always felt like if you're going to coach people, it's not weird. Like if they're specializing in it, like maybe like Tom or Will, they're probably good examples. But someone like yourself, do you automatically just go, oh, okay, well, I'm a powerlifter, so if I train people, I just want to train powerlifters, or would you coach anyone?
To begin with, it would just be powerlifting.
Mhm.
Not like they don't have to compete, but it would be strength based. Like it would be strength training with the goal of getting stronger and building a physique, basically. Only because my goal would be to build like a team. So zero weakness, and Nexus they're a team, and like I really like the idea of that. Building this sort of fucking Fast and Furious family, you know what I mean? But all going to like compete together in that. Like I enjoy it, so that would be the main goal.
Yeah, interesting. And so I quick fire a lot of my questions, and I think maybe there's a little bit of undiagnosed ADHD. So one of the things you mentioned before was like the music and the YouTube videos and stuff like that. And obviously you use a lot of music in your memes and everything like that. Do you have a large connection to music? Like you're a music person, you have favorite bands, things like that?
I'm like anybody, I enjoy listening to music. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing that like stands out where I'm like, yes, this is my favorite. I must listen to this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the same. I'm very, I'd say, bipolar with my music. Like, I don't have a playlist. I literally have all my songs. I just hit shuffle on and I just go for it. Or like
Yeah,
before each set, I'll literally pick a different song for each set. Like, but
interesting.
yeah, it depends. It depends what I'm doing as well. So like, if I'm working up to a top set, I'll listen to heavier things. If I'm doing just my accessories, just more chill stuff.
Yeah, okay. No, that's what you want, variety, right? Spice of life.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have any, I guess, what you would call like other hobbies besides what you do? Like, are you like obviously some people like read a lot, they watch movies, things like that?
Um, so yeah, like I literally just I work, I train, I obviously create content. That's my main thing. I love creating content. Um, um, Besides that, I play a bit of golf with my mates. I like that. That's pretty fun. I suck at it, but I have fun doing it. Um, Not really anything else. Like, oh yeah, that's pretty much all I do.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a pretty cool life. I mean, I just always
It
ask
is,
because
yeah,
it's some people do really weird. Like I spoke to like a really strong weightlifter once, and then it turns out he did some like crazy competitive online car racing where he had this entire almost like the inside of a car in his lounge room, and there's like a name for it or something, and he would sit in this car and like race people on the other side of the country. And like
yeah,
if I never had asked, I wouldn't have found out that. I found it fascinating that someone who is weightlifting and focusing on this sort of thing has the time to do any of that. And
yeah, one hundred
apparently it's
percent.
quite competitive. So I was like, whoa, that's a world I didn't know.
Yeah, well, like I would love to because I play a fair bit of Xbox, and like I'd love to get into streaming and all that sort of thing at some point. But once again, that's a time-consuming part.
A hard one to do it all, I guess. Like, because if you're going to coach, then it's sort of like, and you're going to build a gym and build a business, it's really hard to put all that into it.
Yeah,
Do you have a
yeah.
like
So
a
it's like
place? Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, it's like the Ron Swanson quote, like don't half-ass anything, whole-ass one thing. So focus on the one thing.
It's definitely a better way to. I mean, I just did one of these podcasts like 4.5 years ago in a room and just did it fucking around. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm kind of keep doing it. I should probably just keep doing it
Yeah,
because I feel like if I try to go into, and I did one, I tried, I was like YouTube, and then I was like, nah, I feel like podcast is like something that's fairly doable and you can fit into your life as well. If you're like the main thing you do, right? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't take time and energy, of course it does, but it's probably fairly doable. Otherwise, you wouldn't be
mm,
like consistently doing it. There's usually a pretty good indicator, right? That something's probably not really suited to you if you do it for like a small period of time and you're already struggling to do it.
yeah.
So then, like the gym stuff, would you open a gym like where you are now?
Most likely.
Yeah.
Like I've spoke to because if I do it, it's going to be with my mate Ryan because we share the same idea. It's exactly what we want to do. We spoke about it. If we do it here, we know people. We have friends, family connections, all that. Whereas if we move away, yeah, there's potential for more clients and stuff, but we don't know anybody. So
Hmm.
we're probably better off starting it here and then expanding if we want to.
Interesting. Is there like a layout, I guess, that you have in mind? Is there a kind of way you want the gym to be? Obviously, when you're creating something like that, it's pretty specific.
Yeah, I feel like everyone always has a picture in their head, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the space you can find at the time, and then you're going to have to go with that. But I don't know if you know Power Build Gym in America.
Power build. I wonder if I can find it. Power build. Power
So it's
build.
PWR and then like BLD.
PWRBLD. Power build gym. Boom. I want to follow.
So he just opened his third location,
I,
and it's
oh, dude. I've already liked it because I saw this come up in my reels. It's
yeah,
unreal.
that is the obviously not to that scale to start with, but that sort of vibe, that look is what we would go for.
Fuck, you'd never be waiting for a bench there, eh?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, wow, man, that's crazy. That is.
Yeah,
Do you have any names in mind?
um, not really, not to start with, because obviously I'd love to link it to Jacked with the 3D, but if I'm opening it with my mate, it'll be something we can both agree on. I don't want it to be just about me. I want him to be involved as much as I am. So we'll cross that
Yeah,
bridge when we come to it.
to an extent though. Surely it'd be cool if he was on board with that because that would be fucking like a hilarious name, like in a good
Yeah,
way. Like it would be
it would
like
be.
that, and it would resonate with people so much as well. And obviously, like you're going to be using the space probably to make a lot of content, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'd be cool if
So
you could get to a point where you like had people coming over to it, like you could invite like trend twins and stuff like they come over to it and
yeah,
stuff.
that would be definitely the end goal.
Oh, you'd like
And
to do that?
basically, yeah, like to have a space where obviously it's a great gym. People want to come and train, but to get big names to come and like when you go to America and you see Alpha Land and Gold's Gym, these famous gyms people want to train at, we don't really have that in Australia. So it'd be cool to have like a location where it's like, yep, I want to go train there.
If you could train at any gym, like if you could go and do a session, like say whenever your next session is, if you could just teleport there, where would you go?
It would definitely be one of the power build gyms just to try it out and see what it's actually like, because I've only ever seen it on Instagram. What else is there? I'd like to go to Alpha Land just for the sake of it. Like, as much as people rag on it, it still looks like a pretty cool gym.
Yeah, it's got like that kind of like funk music energy kind of shirt off in the dumbbell rack and stuff. But like that's what people like.
100%. Like you see like Jamal Brown go there and pull 400 plus. And it's all right, cool.
Be a cool environment to be strong as fuck in. You'd get people around you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, what if you could, like, out of influences, like what if you could like train with someone for a day? Like, do you have someone in mind?
I'd definitely train with Death Grip Derek.
He'd be the go.
He would be, and especially because like he seems like a very funny guy, and like obviously I use him a lot of my memes, so I feel like he'd get a kick out of that. But
get some mustache tips.
Yeah, exactly. I think I definitely need to off him. See what his protocol is.
He's doing something right.
He is.
And has he ever liked the page or reached out or anything?
No, yeah, he follows it. He likes all the posts, and he always reshares the ones of him. So
it's a good sign.
It is good. So yeah, every time he puts up a Q&A, I get excited because I'm like, "Ooh, new meme content."
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize how he was until I sort of had like a mate pointed out and like sent me one, and I was like, wow, this guy doesn't fucking hold back.
No, he does not care.
No, it reminds me of there's like another dude getting around at the moment. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's been in a meme, but maybe he hasn't because he's more of a fighter. Is it like Sean
Strickland?
Sean Strickland, I think.
He's been one.
Yeah, I figured he would be because he is a meme in himself, man. I can't believe the stuff that guy says. It's like he's not getting in trouble for any of it.
Well, it's great because it's UFC. It's the same as when Conor McGregor was at the top. Such a character, it just brings a lot more people.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the whole Roadhouse thing coming.
No, I definitely didn't see that coming.
I don't even know how excited I am to see it, but I mean, good on him for doing it.
100%, and it looks like he enjoyed himself doing it. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, if you get to that level, man, I mean, where do you go, right? Like, it's sort of like seems to be like if you're that popular, I guess at some point you do some kind of movie, right?
Well, literally, if someone reaches out to you saying you want to try it for this movie, I don't think you're going to say
no. Absolutely not. I mean, is there any opportunities that you would like now? Like, obviously, taking on something like Gorilla Mind. Is there any other things that you have in mind where you're like, oh man, I'd really love to get like involved with this sort of company or this sort of thing?
In terms of that, I will. It's funny because it was so random. So Young LA. The owner of that, Gurma Singh, I think his name is. I probably butchered that name, but I think that's how you pronounce it. Before Gorilla Mind messaged me, he actually messaged the page as well. So he followed it. He messaged me and he said, "Hey guys, what's up?" And I seen it was the owner of Young LA. I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And I messaged him back and I'm like, "Oh, just living the dream, mate. What about you?" And he never responded. So here we are.
Yeah, wow. Okay. So wait, he just said, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, he said, "Hey guys, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna, I don't know, want to work together or do like a collab or something." And then he just never responded. So I was like, "All right, cool. I'll go fuck myself."
Shout out to that guy.
100%. But then like a week later, that's when Gorilla Mind messaged me. So I was like, "All right, no, we're on here." So
well, that's the thing. Yeah. You got to go through that a little bit in this sort of stuff. Like I've hit people up for podcasts and just heard nothing, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things, and then there's sometimes where I have spoken to people and it's worked out pretty well. And like I think you kind of have to shoot your shot, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like
so in terms of next opportunity, I would obviously like to get on board with some sort of clothing brand, like through the meme page. So similar with Gorilla Mind. I feel like every big influencer has a sub sponsor and a clothing sponsor. That's just the way it is. But yeah, besides that, I'm just happy to keep doing what I'm doing and lifting heavy weights and see where it takes me.
Well, man, you're 23. You got a fucking long time to do it, right?
Yeah. I get caught up with that sometimes. Like I always think I'm like, I should be so much further ahead, but no, like I've got to ground myself and be pretty happy with where I am.
Well, it's a hard one, I guess, in what we're doing now, and it'd probably be easy to get in your head about it, right? Because I was like, that
Mm,
meme page, like, it's killing it, but
yeah.
the internet's not real, so
No,
like that
100%.
could get
Like,
deleted tomorrow.
yeah, and don't worry, I thoughts always in the back of my head.
But it's like you don't know how that's going to happen either, because it's like, would it be because you post shit that's pretty fucked sometimes? So you're like,
Yeah.
is it going to get banned, or how do I know where the line is?
No, well, so I haven't had one reported in a very long time. I remember when I first started, I was posting so often because I wanted it to blow up. I was posting so often. Instagram banned my account because I thought I was a bot. And I was like, I'm trying to explain to them, like, no, I'm a real person. I'm just posting a lot. Like, they just thought I was spamming. So,
Yeah, I've
but yeah,
noticed that
ever
with the.
since,
Sorry, you go.
no, yeah, ever since it's actually grown, like blown up, like, yeah, I haven't had anything reported in a long time.
Yeah, I guess it's good that the target demographic is people who want to see it. So you're not,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I've noticed that with the liking stuff as well. Like I remember when I first I was like, I'll just like heaps of pages, and then they'll get some followers. And I did like 10 in a row, and the Instagram was like, no, you can't do any more. Like it was, I did
Yeah.
them like too quickly, and like it was like, no, you're like a bot or something. And I was like, ah, fuck.
Yeah. They know exactly what's going on.
Oh, I guess I'll have to grow organically and make quality
Yeah.
content.
Fine. I'll put effort in.
Damn, yeah, why not? What do you use? Like, do you use just like an editing program on your phone?
Yeah. I just use my phone. That's literally all it is. It's,
Yeah.
I use PixArt, Mematic, and LumaFusion is the video editor.
Fuck yeah, dude. I use only LumaFusion. It's killer A.
And it's so good. It's so simple. It works. That's all you need.
Dude, I've tried to get so many people to use like when someone's like, oh, I don't know, man, I use like Premiere Pro. I'm like, fuck Premiere Pro. I'm like, you
I've
do
tried
that,
that. It is so fucking confusing.
dude. How confusing is it? It's
100%.
and it's like, and also then you cancel, and then they want to charge you like $110 to cancel it.
Yep.
They give like a hell mad cancellation fee, and I'm like, LumaFusion. I think I paid like $42, and now it's mine forever.
Yeah. I literally paid like $40 on my phone. Done. Cheers.
Dude, it's so much better, eh? And even for the mic'd up stuff, I mean, like, I don't know if you've been trying to think if I've listened to one of yours. Maybe you like the atmosphere, but the sound isolation stuff,
Yep. I actually only discovered that in my latest episode that was a
yeah,
thing. So yeah, I was like watching my first few episodes. I'm like, I can't hear shit. This sucks. But in my latest one, it's like good. It's clear.
dude, I did that here, and I did like interviews with people, and we were in a loud gym, and I just later on, I was like, oh, I found it. I put it through the thing, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I released 5 videos, and I hated the way they sounded, and I just pressed a button and fucking fixed it. I was
Yeah.
like, now I can't go back and delete them. Like I'm gonna, it's gonna annoy me forever knowing that that's there. And all I had to do was press a button. So
Yeah.
yeah, anyone who's creating content, I would recommend that app too.
Yeah. It's all part of the journey. You don't know until you do it and make mistakes and learn. So can't be hard on yourself.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well, coming to the end of it, man, what is like you're a wise 23-year-old who's, had a shitload of life experience. What is some advice that you would bestow on a young lifter?
Oh, I'm a young lifter. I don't know. Just do what you enjoy. Like, don't take it too seriously unless that's what you want to do. Like, a lot of people think I take it super seriously, but at the end of the day, I just come in. I lift weights because I enjoy doing it. It's not like I'm trying to be the best in the world at it. I'll just keep doing it. If it leads to that point, so be it. Like, I'll take that. But just do what you enjoy. That's my advice. And just have a little fun. Like, we're not here for a long time, so enjoy yourself.
Good way to look at it. And I'll flip it on you and say, is there anyone that's ever given you advice? Is there any advice that stuck with you?
Any advice that stuck with me?
Maybe something someone said.
I don't know. I'm always stuck in my own ways, like in my head. I'm always just so set, like this is what I'm doing. It was like, actually, no, there is one. There is one. So when I worked as a fitter and turner for like 4 years, and I hated it. I just did it to get out of school. And when I decided to quit it and start working at the gym, my parents they hated it. They were like, no, like you should, stay working the trade. It's good money, like just keep it. And it was good money, but it wasn't worth it. I was miserable. And then they'll say, no, just keep doing it. You'll be fine. So I ignored that advice. I just quit, and then I rocked up home one day, all my tools in hands, like, and I was out at my dad's shed, and I was putting all the tools away because I just, didn't need them anymore. And he comes out and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I quit today." He goes, "Oh, well, what are you gonna do?" I was like, "Oh, I've got a job at the gym." And he goes, "All right. Oh well, as long as you know what you're doing, don't half-ass it." And I'm like, "All right, I won't." So don't half-ass it.
I like it. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's not a bad bit of advice, is it?
It was good, and especially because, like, I don't know, my dad and me, we're not that close. So for him to come to me and just say, like, "Look, you know what you're doing, go for it." That's all I needed to hear.
Hmm. I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's like you've done something and made a decision, but he could probably see that it wasn't just something you randomly decided to do and didn't give a shit about. It was something that
Yeah,
obviously, like as much as even if you're not closer, it's like he obviously could tell, like, I don't know. I feel like older generation didn't have much of a choice, man. Now it's like you can just do fucking so many things. It's ridiculous.
100%.
It's like having a job on the internet. How weird is that, right? You're getting paid
It's very weird.
to like everything you're doing is regurgitating something, right? That's the same thing I'm doing, right? Like a podcast, meme pages, like anything that you're doing is essentially some form of just kind of regurgitating either what you've heard or something that you've seen or music that you've heard. And it's all just kind of you putting it together in like a creative way that someone else can't be fucked doing. And then people go, oh, that's cool. And they click it. It's
Yeah.
something that I always can like, it's weird to think back in the day, people used to shine people's shoes. And the only way to like earn money was be like a fucking coal miner and do all these really hard jobs. And now there's people literally just like, have you seen these motherfuckers on TikTok and they have like emojis coming from the screen and they just like react to the emojis and they get paid for it?
Yep. Insane. Insanity.
That's crazy that that's a job, man. There's people getting paid like six figures for that.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
it's
just,
insane because every one of those things you see is someone spending money to send that little icon to have them to react to it. And I'm
just,
like, why are you giving these people your money?
I mean, that's OnlyFans in a nutshell, right? Like I feel like we went through such a
It is,
weird
yeah.
part where it was like, dudes were like, fuck yeah, porn in magazines and you'd rent one maybe from a Blockbuster if you were confident enough. And then you would,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, internet porn just became so fucking like you would have to like download it on LimeWire, and your computer would get like hepatitis from it, and then that was a whole big thing. But then you'd have this one porno where you're like, man, I had to download this on dial up, and like this is a good porno. I like this bit. I'm going to keep that. And then I feel like I'm speaking to so many dudes right now, and
Yeah.
then porn was just free as shit, and it was everywhere. And then I feel like we've started
Yeah.
to go backwards because now all of a sudden some chick's like, I'll show you a bit of side boob. And someone's like, I'll give you $25 for that. And you're like, whoa, like that's a weird trade
Yeah.
off. You're paying a lot of money for something that's like,
100%. Just Google it. It's there. It's on the internet.
yeah, he's like, yeah, but you're like, dude, you can see all the tits. And some guy's like, yeah, but no, I want to see her tits. And you're like,
Yes. And
I,
that's where, and OnlyFans knew that. That's where they got you.
yeah, I understand the thing, right? We've all had that, right? But it's
Yeah.
like, I understand the urge. But it's like if you're in public, man, you see a chick, you just have to accept it. You're like, I just can't, I'm not going to go talk to you or something like that. You just have to accept that sort of thing. You move on with your life. But guys can't do it now because they're like, no, there's a price for everything. I can just pay and see that. And that blows my
Yeah.
mind, honestly. I just can't believe it's accessible.
Yep.
It's,
That's the
yeah.
world we live in.
But hey, man, it's not a bad thing. People are making money, right?
A lot of money.
A lot of money. So, I mean, maybe we're into
If the
the
meme,
wrong stuff.
yeah, if the meme page doesn't work out, well, OnlyFans is always there.
You got the 2-inch Punisher. That won't let you down.
100%.
There you
30
go.
bucks. Take or leave it.
Man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you.
That's all right, mate. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate you reaching out.
I had to, man. It wasn't, funnily enough, the meme page was like, I found out about that later. I didn't even know that was you and then I clicked on it. I was like, oh, of course it's this fucking guy. It makes total sense that it's the same.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, and this is a good thing, what I realized is I still have to do it. I forgot to do it. I didn't actually follow the meme page because they come up so much on my Instagram. I thought I already followed it. So the algorithm favors your page so well that I thought I already followed the page and I didn't know until I clicked on it in your bio. And I was like, wait, you're telling me that the algorithm's so good on this guy's page. I've seen him so frequently, I thought I followed him. Which is
That's good news. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it is a good thing, right? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I appreciate you expanding on things, man. And you've got a bright future, future ahead of you with lifting, and congratulations on the stuff with Gorilla Mind.
Thank
And
you. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll try not to let you down. So
no, I'm sure you won't, as long as you don't half-ass it.
that's right.
That's all that matters. But if you are, if you're by this point not aware, but I'm assuming if you're listening, you are aware, you got to go check out Jack's meme page, because it is gold. And it's you'll probably be scrolling for longer than you want to be, and you end up in the meme realm, and then you can't get out, and you just can't stop watching them. And I've been there.
Sorry, don't
So
scroll for too long though, because if you go back to like my first ones, they're a bit average.
yeah, well, look, all I'm saying is that if you're listening to this, and in the next hour after the podcast, you think, hey man, I need to take a shit. When you go and take a shit, you don't have to sit there with mildly somewhat entertaining content. You can go to the meme page and you will get pins and needles. I can guarantee it.
That's right. That shit will be longer than you anticipate.
Guaranteed. Man, look, thank you very much. If you if you happen to be over here again in the future, I'm over there, man. Great to meet you in person. I'd love to see you do some very impressive high bars in person one day, because I don't think I know a powerlifter that high bars and wraps. It'd be cool to see. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing how things go with your page, bro. It's a crazy growth, and if you can somehow open a gym and turn all that shit to a career, then that'll be amazing.
100%. Yeah, I look forward to it. And if I definitely want to come back over. I enjoyed my time over there, so I definitely would mind coming back. So I'll hit you up if I'm over there, and we'll get something happening.
Absolutely, man. We'll do one of these in person, and maybe you can by that point bring some fucking shit over for me, because you'll probably be rolling in the million likes at that point, and I can maybe try some Gorilla Mind products, because I don't do pre-workout, but I'm assuming they do a shitload of other stuff. So maybe you'll have to tell me what you end up getting in the mail, and I might have to order something to try it out.
No, 100%, man. I'll be happy to help you out.
Awesome. I'll use your code, which you can drop right now. What's your code for Gorilla Mind if someone buys some?
It's Jack 3D, all capitals.
You go fucking love that, eh? Jack 3D, all capitals.
100%.
Oh man, thanks for being here. We'll talk again soon.
Awesome, mate. No, thank you.